The second idea is to cover up the bridges that you see when you drive in on Spring Grove Avenue and on Mitchell. About the time you drive into the neighborhood, you're driving straight to this huge railroad bridge that's rusted out, that's old, that you can't touch because it's not owned by you. So my suggestion is to add a bridge sign in front of it that doesn't actually touch the bridge in any way, doesn't paint it, doesn't change it, but it covers up the image and helps the driver see that, oh, they're in Spring Grove Village now. So this is an idea that came from Fairfield, Ohio. They've implemented that between Fairfield and Hamilton, and it's actually been a pretty successful project, and they're very proud of it. So something like that would cover up that negative appeal. The third ideas that I have, this says pedestrian improvements, can't see it very well, was just to improve the sidewalks in the neighborhood, to widen some of them on Estee Avenue. They're a little bit small. Widening those would definitely benefit pedestrians walking down to Kroger. And adding the trees also. I know Spring Grove Village is very proud of their trees, and I think that's a great project that should be continued to add more along it. Another idea is the crosswalks on main intersections. Because there's so much traffic driving through all the time, adding specific kinds of crosswalks will slow down that traffic and be safer for pedestrians to walk across these roads without being afraid that someone's going to run them down. So cities like Portland, Oregon, and San Francisco have implemented crosswalks that are made of brick that are slightly elevated, but not enough that it's going to affect a car driving over it, but enough that they will slow down because they see that it's raised a little bit. So that will provide a traffic calming idea, as well as brickwork can be designed in all kinds of different ways and look very nice in the neighborhood and kind of spruce up an intersection without changing the intersection. And my last part of this proposal is to add bike lanes to several roads. I initially wanted to add it to Estee here, but when I was looking at the codes, the road is not wide enough to implement a single bike lane on it. It has to be at least 44 feet wide, and it's right at the edge of that. But Spring Grove Avenue, being a 6-lane road, has plenty of potential for that, and could implement a shared bike driver lane on the side along the sidewalks. You'll hear later from Joe's proposal down here that it could implement a lot more traffic. It would help to have the bike and the driving incorporated together so that there'd be plenty of movement, but the bikers would be safe. And Clifton Avenue is an example of that. They have the shared bike lane and driving lane, and they just have markings on the road that show that it is shared. And finally, the intersection redesigns. I'm not an engineer, so I kind of just went over what needed to be there and didn't actually design what would be there. But Jessica's proposing Vandalia Avenue, and she'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. But there's a couple turn lanes that would need to be added to encourage the drivers to turn there, or to move the traffic a little bit faster and not back it up from Mitchell Avenue or from Wayne and Spring Grove. In addition, we've talked about removing an extra lane that curved onto Wayton Road in order to stop the traffic from punching through the neighborhood. So it originally looked like that, kind of become a T again instead of having that extra piece to it. Other than that, I pretty much just was really focused on making sure that pedestrians and drivers both were safe and were able to move around the neighborhood, and implementing the complete streets to help do that and to encourage people to move around more and continue walking around and enjoying their neighborhood. That's pretty much it.